Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me today. This is Theresa Horne with Motivation to Move this Monday afternoon. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to be talking to a special guest today in our health series, our series on health conversations on different people's health journeys and how they're going, how their journeys are going, and how their journeys have intersected with Sisterhood of Strong and me as a coach. So today we're talking to LaRhonda Nicole, and I'm excited to be talking to her. It's a exciting time for LaRhonda. She's got some interesting things going on that she's going to tell us about toward the end of our conversation. But LaRhonda is my sister, and we are in a mastermind together. And I'm actually just going to let you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and really briefly, because we'll get into it more.
Gotcha. So, as she said, I am LaRhonda Nicole. I am embracing my calling as a kingdom prophetic healer. I help people hear the heart of God for their healing, whether it be past trauma, that sort of thing. And yeah, that's what I got right now. I'm a nurse and a social worker as well. So
that's good. So, how long have you been a nurse?
for the last 5 years, technically on paper, and I've been a social worker since 2013.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna go right in. Okay,
Yeah.
so I spoke about how we'll talk about your health journey and then um how the two our two lives have become intertwined. And so the first thing I think I want to ask you is how how did you how did you decide to start working with me in Sisterhood of Strong?
So, as you stated, we're in the mastermind, and Latara Venice was talking about how much in pain she was in working out with you. But what I realized was we always talk about being holistic and whole, and my health was one of those things that I avoided, but I knew that in order for me to do the work that God has for me, my health needs to be a little bit better than what it was. So I finally made the jump to sign up, and here I am. What is this, like the second month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to get out the file, but yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, because we had cardio this week.
No joke. But I
Yeah.
needed it. I needed it. I,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you're doing really, really well, obviously.
Yeah.
So for you to make it to cardio day, then you have to be doing
One
all
step
right.
at a time.
Yeah. So what do you think? What was the biggest thing holding you back um, from making the decision to hire a trainer?
It was money initially, but I knew that God was wanting me to focus in more on myself. And so he provided provision in that. I had to get rid of things that weren't necessary. But what brought me to hiring a trainer, especially you, was I knew it was time. Um, people like to blame the baby weight, kind of thing. But my son is 15 now, and it's like I can't use that excuse anymore. That's 15 years old, and I needed to move. Um, I just really, I just knew that I didn't want to be like my parents and be in bad health close to their 40s and 50s because my parents passed away at 55 and 60. So, and I was, slowly getting to that, and I didn't want to be like them. I'm gonna just be honest. I didn't want to be like them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talked about finances being in a barrier. Is this the first time that you've worked with a trainer or a coach?
Yes. Like officially, yeah. I've never hired a trainer at all. I pay for gym memberships, but
Mm-hmm.
like, no.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So, what do you think has been the biggest thing that has changed? I know I'm not going to say I know, but there's probably a couple. Um, so I guess when I ask you that question, what's the biggest thing you think has changed for you so far in our time working together?
Position. How
Mm.
all these years, I guess I assumed that I was okay. And, I'm going to do all these great things for God. My body's fine. But then in starting to work out with you, I realized, man, I'm out of alignment. Like my posture and my position is off. And it just brought up a lot of other things that I was like, man, I'm off in other areas too. And I know that's kind of weird, but I just really it's just my position. Like, for example, squats. I've never been a person that likes squats, but in how you explain how a proper squat is done, it's like, oh, wow, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. And there's more to that story, y'all. Just one day I might get in here and just tell off. But it was just like just simple things like how do you do a squat? How do you do a plank? Just little things. But position came to mind, my posture. Um, and then of course, just you, Theresa, just bringing things out that like made sense. But for me, like I keep a lot of things locked in. And so with the movement and focusing on the proper placement of my body, it makes a difference. And it takes a load off of like the other things that are bothering me, like my lower back. So yeah, I think that answered your question.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And so, yeah, I mean, we both know there's a whole bunch in there, right? But
Hmm.
when we talk about position, I think what you said is so good is you don't know that you're out of position until somebody helps you correct your position,
Hmm.
right? And we are specifically talking about our physical
Right.
positioning, but um, I think what you're saying is that as you corrected your physical position, you were able to see other places where you were out of alignment in your life. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Hmm. Like
Yeah.
even in my healing journey, um, I realized how important my identity was for me to walk out my healing journey, to continue to walk it out. And I say that because even though we're talking about the physical, our bodies, like it's kind of hard for me to explain right now, but when I was out of alignment with who I was, it affected how I operated in life. Being now that I'm coming into my right identity and positioning myself to where God needs me and wants to use me and is correcting me, I'm able to accept those things without saying, oh, it's too hard and just giving up. Kind of like with you showing me the proper form and posture of how I should do something, it prevents me from giving up and thinking, oh, this is just too hard. I can't do it. And it's coming from a person who understands how the physical body is supposed to operate versus just, oh, I'm gonna just tell you a couple body mechanics and that's it. It's like, no, you get it. You get why it's important to be in the proper position and posture when you're doing a particular exercise or set. I know that was a lot, but
No, that's so good. I think that is so good.
yeah.
So, so we were talking about like, the positioning, which is a big difference. Can you think of anything, or is there anything else specific you want to share that has been like a breakthrough or aha moment that has happened since we've been working together?
Many. Um, so in going back to the proper alignment, I realized that once I decided, okay, I'm going to put more emphasis on my health, like I'm going to invest in my health more than something else, um, a lot of things started to take place from a spiritual aspect. And even in doing the exercises and you teaching me, okay, do it this way, um, or push me a little bit harder to keep going. You can do more. It's really helped me to build up that endurance to keep going. Like I don't, I don't, I'm not really like a person that gives up quick, but I can get easily like distracted because it's not challenging enough. And just physically focusing on my health, it's like, Rhonda, you have more to give, you have more to do. The exercise is going to build up that endurance, but along the way, because I put you in the place of Theresa, I'm not, bragging or anything, but I'm just saying, you're awesome. um, it helped me to like it helped to me. It helped me help it make sense as to why God was like, okay, now it's time to focus on your health. Because even during like our exercises, like he's still speaking to me like proper form, posture yourself. It's okay. Like you have to like whenever I'm exercising, I have to submit my whole mind and body to the to the form because I'm like, I don't want to do this, but okay, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like that total surrender because God is like building me up for something more. And my health is way more because my body's going to carry me for as long as, God has me to be carried. But I wasn't going to get that if I was just going to not focus on it and eat bad and pretend that, I'm doing exercises, but I'm not doing it enough or consistently. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. That's really good. Oh, so many good things. So I'm glad I wrote down questions this time. I would be. Tell me more. Tell me more. So, let's see. So, what? Who do you think could benefit from this? If so, like I'm thinking there are people who are watching and they're like, I don't know if it's me. Who do you think could benefit from this type of personal training?
that's a good question. I think those that are knowing that know that they need to change something when it comes to their weight. So pretty much those that are like avoiding the whole process of going through exercising and they think it's too hard. They think that, oh, well, it's been years since I've been in a gym or anything. I think it's for those that know that they need to, and God has been speaking to them loud and clear, and they're just avoiding it.
Yeah.
In whatever way that He's speaking it to them, those are the ones that need it. Also, I think those that have come to a point like I did to realize I need to invest whatever money is going out. I need to invest this in my health, whether it be I've had a generation of diabetes, strokes, heart attacks, genetic disorders, arthritis, limited mobility. I feel like those people that know these things need to work with someone, at least starting out with a conversation. Say, what does that look like for me? Because not all, you don't tailor it to everybody. You don't tailor cookie cutter. You tailor it to the person. Um, a lot of people like me, I was intimidated of a gym because it felt like, well, you have to be knowledgeable of all the equipment and what it does. And even though I was athletic as a teenager and through high school, a little bit through college, I still did not have that background knowledge. And so it was good to have you to understand, okay, this is what you do. This is what you can eat. This is how you stretch out. All these different things that I just didn't know. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty interesting. I mean, because you're a knowledgeable person. I think there's so much information available, but and yet we don't specifically know what's going to work for us.
Right.
So, I think that's really, really helpful. And so I do want to point out too that one of the things I really love about being able to have the virtual studio is, LaRhonda and I are not in the same area, right? We're in two different states. If we work out together, the training is through Zoom. So it's really the access is something that I really I'm so excited to be able to work with people all over. So it's
Right.
pretty amazing. And you don't have that issue of having to go into the gym. How has that been for you as far as convenience? Like, has it been beneficial or has it been not beneficial? Because sometimes things are too convenient.
Right.
How
Yes.
has that been?
It has been a help because, one, I don't feel intimidated by the gym. The gym has always just been like this big old place where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But working one-on-one with you, it's like we have those conversations. I boohoo, I cry,
Yeah.
It's a space where I can be safe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel safe. I feel like, okay, you're focusing on what I'm able to do and then pushing me to do more.
Right.
And then, of course, the location is in my living room, and I don't have to drive miles away to go to a gym and not know anybody and then feel discouraged because I don't have anybody to feedback off of or ask questions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something really important. I think it's a safe space. And the fact is that I am pushing you to do things that are hard and uncomfortable and also physically hard. And then also I am kind of pushing you in other areas. I'm pushing you in other areas. Um, and the fact that you're in a safe space, I think, gives you the room to work through it.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel comfortable pushing you because I know you're at your house and
Yes.
you can process safely there. So I think that is, as we were talking about that is a reason that I'm comfortable pushing you is because you know that you're safe, right? And it's not that I say you're safe, it's you've established behavior that lets me know that you are safe there.
Yes,
So
exactly.
because I guess, and I need to say that too, because not everybody feels safe in their home environment.
Right. And then if you're always like in a big, huge gym, whether it's a group class or just by yourself, like you don't have that emotional support that comes when you're changing your life, because some people, how like families are, like you get in your families and everybody always wants to eat. Well, they don't know that you struggle with that. And so they're always like pushing you to eat, 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 eat. And you're like, but I got an issue with food. Like I can't just eat like that. And so I'm able to, not to say that I have this issue, but I'm able to express other things that come out that I struggle with. But for whatever reason, for me, the exercise helps me to move that stuff out. Whereas if I'm in a gym, I'm keeping it locked in because I'm also thinking about my surroundings, who's watching me, who's just little things. And then I'm still working with insecurity issues. So being in a gym or just in a group session, I'm not gonna feel my best because I'm worried about how I look in my clothes. And nobody's focused on me and my internal needs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff there too. I think, yeah, that's really good. One of the things, and this is kind of a little bit off, but when you were speaking about the food and the family thing, how do you think that, and I'm just gonna ask a question, Has in this working out and changing some of your habits, have you had to change your boundaries
Yes.
around exercise and food or any of that? Have you had to change your boundaries?
I have had to make time to exercise because I work 7 to 3, but I get up at like 5 or whatever. So I'm up. But by the time I exercise, it's late and it's like, I don't want to do it. And whereas before, if I didn't have a one-on-one person, I would just skip it. I'm like, whatever, it's not important. But now that I'm invested in it, both financially and physically, I make time for it.
Mm.
When it comes to the food, I'm still working on that, of course. But I am noticing that um, I'm making exchanges little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, even though I'm working out, I don't necessarily have to eat a lot at night because usually when I eat at night, it's because I'm tired. And I'm like, I just want to sit there and just be myself.
Yeah.
But now that I'm working out, it's like I feel good. I feel full. And I don't have to go to the fridge to help me cope with the day because I got it out during my exercise session.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That is so good. Yeah. How about sleep? How
You
is your
know
sleep?
what? I'm sleeping longer. I'm still like I've still had issues with sleeping, but I'm sleeping longer. But I actually realized that, and this is because I used to be a diabetic. I had gastric bypass. I forgot to add that all in there, but I started going back down the same road, and my blood sugars would start to be up again. Well, since I've been exercising, and I didn't tell you this, my blood sugars have actually been lower at night. So with them being low, I can actually sleep without my body trying to put off all that sugar at night that I've eaten throughout the day and then at night trying to cope because I'm stressed out. So it
Right.
also tells me that my cortisol levels are going down too because I'm not carrying all that stress and sugar. So I meant to tell you that I forgot, but yeah,
That is so good.
I can tell the difference in when I wake up and when I go to bed now. I don't have that draining feeling.
Yeah. That's so good.
Oh yeah.
That's well, thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, well, I think is there one more question? Is there anything else that has changed that you want to share? Basically, this is just, is there anything else that you want to share before we talk about the next thing?
I do. The biggest thing is just the energy. Now there are times I still get tired. I'm not gonna lie, um, but there's a difference in me exercising throughout the week versus me not. I don't feel like I used to feel guilty because I'm like I need to be doing something. I need to be walking or something, but it's that guilt is not there. But at the same time, like I just don't have that overwhelming sense of gosh, I'm lazy, like I'm tired. Because I used to have that overwhelming like sense of just tiredness. And
Mm,
really what it was, I had like all this stuff throughout the day and I just didn't have an outlet for it. And the 2 days out of the week that I do work with you, I kind of have an outlet where I'm moving that stuff out and able to process more. Still takes time, but I'm still processing it to where it's like, okay. And I think that's why God had it on my heart to be like, hey, or had it in his heart for me to be like, hey, you need to move.
yeah.
Get it out. So, yep.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's so good. I really do think that it's a part of God's plan for us is to move, and we might not all move the same way, but
Right.
I really do feel like we move our emotions through our body. Well, or don't move them through our bodies,
Mhm.
right? Like, or just
Mhm.
let them sit in
Yes.
different parts of our bodies. So yeah, I think that is really, really true and real. All right, so I'm about to try to get fancy now. So I want you to go ahead and tell us about. So you talked about your healing journey a little bit, and one of the things that I would guess is like a byproduct, is that a byproduct of your healing journey
Yeah, it
is a
is.
new book. So why don't you tell us about um, just how did you come to write the book, and then you can tell us about the book.
So I kind of always had a book in mind. I just didn't know where to start. But the name of the book is called Right Identity, a guide to, I hate when I forget this, a guide to identity restoration for healing and freedom. And pretty much to try to sum it up the best way I can, the book talks about how when we operate in our right identity, it promotes healing. So like when you're in your right space, when a plant is in its right space, it grows. Um, the book talks about the things that you are to expect. Um, there's so many talks nowadays about healing, but not from a God standpoint. And the key thing that I mentioned in the very beginning of the book is that you don't have to do it alone. Um, for me, when I tried to heal on my own, I had to carry all the weight of everything. The okay, should I do this? Should I do that? Well, in the last 2 years, in working with Latara and just getting all of that stuff out, I realized that through the process, I did not have to do it alone. And in Right Identity, I show you and explain how when you pull that stuff up, you don't have to do it by yourself. God is going to guide you. The only thing that he wants you to do is surrender to the process and be honest with yourself and talk about that stuff. So kind of in a nutshell what the book is, but the book has a little bit of something for everybody. It's not going to be the same. Not everybody is going to take it the same. And it's definitely not a blueprint. So let me get that out there. It's not a blueprint to healing. It's and I say that because a lot of self-help books, they talk about, you know, if you do A, B, and C, this is the result. And it's like, no, because that's not for everybody. Um, but it's truly for you. It's almost like God is there with you. You're bringing all this stuff up, and he's sharing with you, or he's exchanging with you. Okay, this is my desire for you. This is how I want this to happen for you. I know it's hard, so let's do this. And yeah, pretty much in a nutshell, it just walks you through. It's not a read it, oh, it's a nice book and close it. You're actively marking things down. You're writing. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So it sounds like basically it's not a blueprint, because it's really just a guide of ways you are bringing things to the forefront and taking it to God, and He's really showing you the next step. So that's kind of why it's individualized. It sounds like, right?
Right.
So there's like work for you to do, and then you take it to God, and then go to the book, and is that kind of, I'm so
Mhm.
excited about it.
No.
Like,
And in the same time, he's also showing you who you are to him. So as you heal and bring that stuff to the surface, he's like, this is who you are underneath all this mess, underneath all these titles. Like, this is who you are, and this is how you need to operate. If you operate outside of that, you're going to be messed up. You're still going to be hurt. But if you operate in your right identity that I gave you before the foundations, you're going to be able to bring that those wounds and traumas up in a way that you're going to give yourself grace.
okay.
That's
Yeah, and that's why, if you operate in your right identity, so that's the name of the book,
you
right?
promote healing. There you go.
So good, so good. All right, and so I will also have a link to purchase the book in the. I'll put that in the. I wanted to say show notes, but I'm working on show notes. In
Yeah.
the comments, we'll put that in there for everybody. This has been a great conversation. I'm so excited about the book. I already ordered mine, so mine is coming. And thank you so much for talking with me today about your journey. And you guys go buy the book, Right Identity.
It
So
is
you
pre-sale right now. Books will be out by the end of the month. So pre-sale.
Okay, so this
It.
is pre-sale. Good.
Mhm.
All right. So this is pre-sale. Get in while the getting's good. All right. So thank you again for chatting with me. This has been Theresa Horne, Sisterhood of Strong with Motivation to Move. You can join us every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time on the Sisterhood of Strong page on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for joining me. LaRhonda, thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.